Part 2. Okay, Ralph thought now as he watched the desultory mid-morning flow of customers in and out of the Red Apple across the street. Here's the situation. Bill says you look like shit and you almost fainted at Lois Chass's feet this morning, and you just canceled the appointment you made with the older family physician. So what next? Just let it go? Accept the situation and let it go? The idea had a certain oriental charm, bait, charm, and all that, but he was going to need more than charm to get him through the long hours of early morning. The book said there were people in the world, quite a lot of them, who managed very well on no more than 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night. There were even some who got along on only 2. They were an extremely small minority, but they did exist. Ralph Roberts, however, was not among their number. How he lived wasn't very important to him. He had a feeling that his matinee idle days were well behind him. But how he felt was, and it was no longer just a matter of not feeling good, he felt horrible. The insomnia began to pervade every aspect of his life. The way the smell of frying garlic on the 5th floor will eventually pervade an entire apartment building. The color had started to drain out of things. The world had begun to take on the dull, grainy quality of a newspaper photograph. Simple decisions. Why did he heat up a frozen dinner for his evening meal, or grab a sandwich at the Red Apple, and go up to the picnic area at runway 3, for example, had become difficult, almost agonizing. In the last couple of weeks, he found himself coming back to the apartment from Dave's video shop empty-handed more and more often. Not because there was too much, not because there was nothing at Dave's he wanted to watch, but because there was too much. He couldn't decide if he wanted one of the Dirty Harry movies or a Billy Crystal comedy, or maybe a few old Star Trek episodes. After a couple of these unsuccessful trips, he plopped down in this very winged chair, almost crying with frustration and, he supposed, fear. That creeping sensory numbness and the erosion of his decision-making capabilities were not the only problems he had come to associate with the insomnia. His short-term memory had also begun to slip. It had been his practice to go to the movies at least once, sometimes twice a week ever since his retirement from the print shop, where he had finished his working life as the bookkeeper and general supervisor. He had taken Carolyn until last year, where she had gotten too sick to enjoy going out anywhere. After her death, he had mostly gone alone, although Ellen Deebno had accompanied him once or twice when Ed was coming home to mind the baby. And himself almost never went cleaning to get headaches at the movies. Ralph had gotten so used to calling the Cinema Center's answering machine to check show times that he had the number by heart. As the summer went on, however, he found himself having to look it up in the yellow pages more and more often. He could no longer be sure if the last digits were 1317 or 1713. It's 1713, he said now. I know it is. But did he know it? Did he really? College rolled bad. Go on, Ralph. Some sifting through the wreckage. Do something constructive. If Litchfield really sticks in your craw, call somebody else. The phone books were as full of doctors as it ever was. Probably true, but 7 was maybe a little old to be picking a new saw once by the eeny, meeny, miny, moe method, and he wasn't going to call Litchfield back. Period. Okay, so what's next? You stubborn old goat. A few more folk remedies? I hope not, because at the rate you're going, you'll be down to Eye of Newt and Tongue of Toad in no time. The answer that came was like a cool breeze on a hot day, and it was an absurdly simple answer. All his books researched this summer had been aimed at understanding the problem rather than finding a solution. When it came to answers, he had relied almost solely on back fence remedies like whiskey and honey, even when the books already assured him they probably wouldn't work and would only work for a while. Although the books did offer some presumably reliable methods for coping with insomnia, the only one Ralph had actually tried was the simplest and most obvious, going to bed early in the evening. That solution hadn't worked. He had simply laid awake until 11:30 or so, then dropped to awaken in his new earlier time, but something else may. It was worth a try anyway.